So I'm still waiting from our pastors in the whole island sort of to share a little bit about what's going on. I just heard from one of our pastors in the west coast that there are some communities that they haven't been able to communicate. So, phone service and electricity is a thing. But one of the things that I wanted to share is that this was a category 1. It started like it got closer to Puerto Rico as a tropical storm. It became a category 1 hurricane as just before the eye wall did landfall in the southwestern region of Puerto Rico. This, in terms of, category of intensity of winds, it's not compared to Hurricane Maria in 2017. But with the rain reported, like it was even more rain that we got on the island. So the amount of rivers and floods and the amount of places that got flooded that had never been flooded before is higher. So I think that's where the concern comes in terms of perhaps, it doesn't matter the category, right, or the strength. There's a reality that we're not only on a path of the hurricanes, but we are not we don't have the infrastructure ready to face a natural disaster. So a quote that I got, and I've seen it several times on social media, is that people were saying Fiona is not Hurricane Maria, Fiona is not Hurricane Maria, because the PTSD is real, and people were getting really, really scared about this, the hit of the hurricane. And I even saw posts on Facebook saying, I'm hearing the wind and it brings me back, so it was as real as just hearing, that little wind sound as the storm was getting closer. It was not even on the worst part. So PTSD is real, and people kept repeating, Fiona is not Maria, Fiona is not Maria, sort of to say, hey, this is not the strength that we faced 5 years ago. But the reality is that Puerto Rico isn't what it was before either. And there is a concern in terms of what has happened in the last couple of years, like how the government has responded. Why are we in a different place than we were before? Not in a better way, right? And the concern of people to say, if we cannot even handle a category 1, then we're not, the hurricane season will become a threat, a bigger threat than it is. So, people are frustrated overall in terms of, I hear a lot, I feel we're back to square one. The recovery process was going very, very slow, very, very slow. Although through PDA, we get to see a lot of the recovery actually happening, but the recovery was going very slow. The power grid was weak, but was still weak. And then we're hit and we're facing again a new aftermath. And, a lot of people that lost a lot of things, and Maria just sort of lost them again. A lot of people that perhaps didn't have that experience in 2017 are having it now. So, communities are relieving a disaster in a big way. So I think that's where the biggest concern for me in terms of how do we start from here? How do we get motivated in terms and we will get a lot of people saying, we will get back from this, and we will, we're we have strength and all that stuff. But I see a lot of people saying, how is it that we're not in a place where we were able to face this in a better infrastructure or with better resources for the people?
No, we have already reached out, and thanks, Michelle. Michelle has been wonderful in communicating what is happening with Puerto Rico, but also what is happening with PDA, with the leadership in Puerto Rico. Michelle has a WhatsApp chat with all 3 presbyteries and the Senate, where we have all the leaders of the presbytery there and the leaders of the Senate, and she has been in constant communications with them every day, multiple times during the day, about what is happening, and providing with resource information about assistance and help from the government or what is happening in the island. But also now we have been able to send information about the relief that PDA all the assistance that PDA can provide, initial assistance, of course, to provide help to the communities affected by this in each presbyteries and the Synod, and also to help with some of the repairs of the buildings that were affected by this, and hopefully with long-term recovery projects in the future.
There are still communities that have not been contacted to assess damage. Is it fair to say, Michelle, that search and rescue continues?
Sure.
Yeah, to let people know that it's an ongoing situation, that even though this past Puerto Rico, as you said, Michelle, the emergency phase is still very much in play.